What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I want to get into the New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday Night Football preview. It's the 2-4 Jets versus the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets are 21st in offensive DVOA and 16th in defensive DVOA, while the Pittsburgh Steelers are 23rd in offensive DVOA and 10th in defensive DVOA. So normally this is two teams who struggle offensively, been pretty solid defensively. Jets defense took a little bit of a step back this past week after the performance in the first half. And if you look at the spread in this game, the Jets are 1-point favorites. This video is brought to you by BetUS, the official sports book of the YouTube channel. Sign up using promo code YouTube150 and receive a 150% match deposit bonus. On your first deposit, you get a 125% deposit on your next two deposits after that. So if you want to get in on the action, you want to place your wagers on the New York Jets during the NFL season or on anything else, make sure to check out the #1 sportsbook, BetUS. Well, it looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers are making a quarterback change. Russell Wilson looks like he is taking over. He played a lot on the first team this week in practice, and it will be his first start as a Pittsburgh Steeler. They've been starting Justin Fields, and they're 4-2. It's rare that you see a 4-2 team make a quarterback change, but they feel that Russell Wilson gives them the best chance to win. Justin Fields, through the first 6 games of the year, had 5 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns, so 10 total touchdowns in 6 games, and a 93.9 passer rating. I don't think he's been great. I don't think he's been horrible. That offense has struggled, so they are clearly looking for a spark, and they think Russell Wilson is the better option. I don't know, for me personally, on the Jet side of things, with how much they struggle against the run, Russell Wilson doesn't do that at this point in his career. At one point, he was much more mobile. That's not his game anymore, and Justin Fields runs wild on teams, so I would rather go against Russell Wilson. Maybe that comes back to bite me if the Jets lose this game, but optics-wise, if I asked you, would you rather go against the rushing quarterback or the pocket passer? I think you're taking the pocket passer every time. So the Steelers running back Najee Harris won't play in this game. He's dealing with an injury, but a couple things. Jaylen Warren is a #1. He's a good #2 running back, paired well with Najee Harris, even though he's gotten off to a relatively slow start this year. But here's another issue. The Jets' run defense has been absolutely atrocious. In the first half against the Buffalo Bills, they were getting eaten alive in the run game. Second half, they were significantly better. They only allowed 3 points in the second half, but it's been a major point of emphasis on this defense. The run defense hasn't been good, and it's gotten worse year over year. That was never their strength. Their strength is to be a team that takes away the passing attack, but the defensive line play just has not been good enough for this team. Really, Will McDonald's the only one who's getting any sort of pressure. Quinnen Williams has been very quiet this year. On the other side, you're rotating a bunch of different guys, but Michael Clemens is playing a majority of the snaps, and Javon Kinlaw and Solomon Thomas aren't very good. Something that scares me about this game is TJ Watt and the impact that he could have. He has 4.5 sacks and 15 pressures in 6 games. He is a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. He's going to rack up a ton of sacks over the course of a season. And when you look at it, on paper, the Jets' offensive line got a lot better from a year ago. The unfortunate thing is Tyron Smith has been absolutely atrocious recently. He's given up 5 sacks on the season and 16 pressures in 6 games. For some context, he allowed only 18 pressures and 1 sack all of last season. He didn't play a full season, but he's still played 13 games. He's done that in 6 this year. He's on pace to give up double-digit sacks. That's not what the Jets were supposed to be getting at left tackle. How many times is Rodgers going to get hit in this game? That's what I'm worried about. He's gotten beat up the last 3 weeks. The Jets' offensive line hasn't been good enough. They looked okay. They look better than okay. They look good in pass protection the first 3 weeks of the year. They've been horrendous since then. So that's a major concern for me, is what that defensive line, and the defense obviously is highlighted by TJ Watt. But they have the ability to wreck a game with their pass rush, and that's something that scares me for this. On a positive note, the Jets' offense was significantly better. I know they only grabbed 20 points in this loss to the Bills last week. They did miss 2 field goals, so they left 6 points on the board. They did have a touchdown taken off the board that didn't turn into any points, so that's a 7-point swing. They very well could have been close to 30 points in this game. Self-inflicted wounds really killed them. And one of the big things that I noticed was the increase in motion. Over 70% of snaps. They were 7th in the NFL last week in motion. In weeks 1 through 5, they were 30th or 31st in the NFL. So a massive improvement there. It's something that I hope Todd Downing continues to do. And oh yeah, by the way, there's a new weapon in town, Devonte Adams. He will be playing for the New York Jets on Sunday. They made the trade a couple days ago after the loss to the Buffalo Bills Tuesday. They pulled the trigger on the trade. He's in here. They're getting up to speed. He practiced yesterday. I think he could come in and produce right away. And we'll go over my stat predictions in a moment here, but I'm very excited to see a wide receiver duo of Devonte Adams and Garrett Wilson. All right, let's go over my stat predictions. We'll start Aaron Rodgers. I have him 22 of 34, 64.7 completion percentage, 231 yards, a touchdown, no interception, 94.1 passer rating. In Russell Wilson's debut, I think he'll be 19 of 30, 63.3%, 205 yards, 1 passing touchdown, no interceptions, a 94.4 rating. And Devonte Adams, I think, gets in the end zone in his Jets debut. 6 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. Gotta love Devonte Adams as a New York Jet. Okay, the Jets are 1-point favorites on BetUS, as we mentioned. My against the spread picks have been really bad. They are one win against the spread so far. 3-3 straight up. This losing streak has really got me all bent out of shape over here. Not doing all that well. But I do think the Jets somehow find a way to win this game. Going into the year, I predicted the Jets to lose up in Pittsburgh, and I think Mike Tomlin is an extremely good head coach, one of the best in football, and he gets a lot out of his team. So it would not surprise me at all if the Jets drop this game, but I'm going to say 17-13 Jets. An ugly, low-scoring Sunday night football game. The Pittsburgh Steelers have held opponents to 20 points or less in 5 of their 6 games. Now, there's also been times where they've really struggled to score. 18, 13, 20, 24, 17, 32. 32 against Vegas was by far their best game. But other than that, they are not scoring very much offensively. So I think this is going to be a grinded out, gross game. But I don't care if it's a grinded out, gross game. Because as long as the Jets find a way to win, I do think Devonte Adams is going to be a big impact. And you get to 3-4 and you're somewhat alive. 2-5, we can kiss this season goodbye. If the Jets lose this game on Sunday night in Pittsburgh, the 2024 season might as well be over, because you'd have to go what, 8-2 the rest of the way, which is just an unfair ask. Well, it's not unfair because they would have to do it, but I don't know how anyone could actually believe that after a 2-5 start, they're just going to somehow turn it around and be 8-2. So it starts this week. Got to win to keep the season alive. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.